This is a very advanced sweep picking tapping where I use a combination of several of the fingers on the tapping hand combined with several of the fingers on this hand, the fretting hand. So let's get into what the hey is going on. Okay, so I think that it's really important that we get into very detailed into this, because this is one of those typical licks that looks fun and sounds, I think they sound really amazing, but obviously if you have not done anything like this before, this can feel like, well, I'm never going to do that anyway, or it will take too long to attain it. So what I want to talk about here in this video, obviously I will show you all the notes, but I also want to give you some ideas on how to just get started on this, and take those little baby steps into being able to do something like this, or if not even playing something exactly like this, then just give you an idea or inspire you to take what you already have and make something crazy out of that. Something that maybe just looks like this or sounds a little bit like this, because sometimes if you don't look at the guitar player and he plays something insane, then you just hear a bunch of notes and you don't really have any idea if it's crazy or something like that. So sometimes you can also play something that is really easy, but it sounds very advanced. But what I can tell you, not to say that it's impossible to learn this, because of course it's not, because I'm no different from anyone else, but this is definitely not something that you achieve in a few days or a few hours. This, for me anyway, took many hours of practicing. So, but what I want to talk about here, as I said, is to give you an idea of just to get started with something like this, or at least something that is reminiscent of this sound, so you don't have to use the exact same notes. You can, said another way, make a easy version of this. The first thing I do is first of all I play an E minor arpeggio in a kind of a funky way. But once I reach the G string, I do a lot of hammer-ons, and I actually play an entire scale. I play a full 7-note scale, the Aeolian scale, on the G from the root note from here. So I do play this 4-note pattern here on the G string, and then I add the last 3 notes from the scale here, tapping with the long ring and little finger. So on the low E string I play 12, then 10 on the A, 9 on the D, and then I roll the index finger down to the G string, playing 9 there as well. And then once I've reached the G string, I open up the hand to get to just to be able to play a 4-note string pattern, and I hammer on to it 11, 12 and 14, and then I tap with those 3 fingers, as I said before, long, ring and little. I tap 16, 17 and 19 and pull those notes off again. Once I reach the 9th fret again, I position my index finger in such a way so that I can roll up to the D string again, and then I move into the A string, 10th fret and 12 again. So what you could do here is actually just to make a simpler version of this. You would just play these notes. That in itself sounds awesome, I think. And then you can tap just 1 note. Instead. So you just hammer on to 12 and then tap 16. Actually, I think if you haven't, I think my pickups are a little too close to the strings. I get a lot of noise. Sorry about that. I think if you haven't done anything like this before, I think you should just stay with this until you can get this little pattern to work. Actually, this also looks cool, because not that I think that it's important to look cool while you play, but it is a bonus, I guess. So this looks cool as well, I think. So that's the first thing you can do. The next thing that I do is that I actually, once I reach the D string the next time, then instead of rolling or barring the index finger up to the G string, I go into the G string with my long finger to the 9th fret and into the B string with my index finger, hammering on from 8 to 12. And then I tap 2 notes where I use my long and little finger. I tap 17 and the 20th fret. And then I go back again. And then the next time I reach the G string, then I sort of edge my ring finger in here to the 9th fret so that I can go all the way up to the high E string. So from 9 on the G, I go into the 8th fret on the B string and then into the high E string 7th fret where I hammer on to the 12th. And here I tap 2 notes again, same fingers, long finger and little finger. I tap 15 and 19 and pull those off again. So that's the full thing. So the advanced version was this. And then the simple or relatively simple version is this. And I think this is definitely something I would use as well. So, but I think you really think you should start with that. Once the simple version feels okay, then attempt to do a few hammer-ons, a few extra hammer-ons here. For example, on the 11th fret. It's not major. And then at some point maybe even add the 4th note here. But that's up to you, and just make sure that you don't get into something that you think it's too overwhelming, where you after a few hours stop working on it because it feels like you'll never achieve it anyway. This is where is the point where you really need to step back and just make sure you practice something that feels like that there's sort of light at the end of the tunnel. You get an idea that, okay, this is something that I can do in a relatively short time, because this will, once you reach that point, this is what will give you motivation to make it a little more advanced for the next lick. So this is really easy, that you don't try something that is too far away. Just make simple version. You can do that with all licks. So if you find other cool licks on the internet or on my blog here, by all means try to make your own simple version of it if it seems too crazy. So I'm Niels Weidit, and I hope that you enjoy the lick.